Happy Sunday, everybody. It's a cozy edition here in studio, but I know that outside, as we saw when we kicked off the show, it is snowing outside. We got our first snowfall of the year. I don't think it's going to last, though. I think we might even creep up to double digits temperature-wise next week, and in a few days, the temperature is going to be great. But as Chad mentioned, my co-host, the Hall of Famer Randy Waples, was building some snowmen, but this time it didn't cost you any money.
No.
Some other times it was pretty expensive.
Sometimes those snowmen can be pretty expensive, is right. Yeah. Was that a tease there or something going back up to the double digits? What's that all about there?
I'm hearing that it's going to go up to double
Really?
digits next week. That's what I heard a couple days ago.
All
Yeah,
right,
they
cool.
said snowfall today. It'll be gone by midweek because the temperature is going to go up, and
Nice.
they said we could see double digits by next week, which doesn't surprise me. November, as of late,
This is depressing, though.
This is-
I mean,
yeah.
come on. First week in November?
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. But you know what? A couple, obviously, tracks having to cancel, right? Flamborough as well as Rideau. There's only a couple harness racing tracks going on tonight, I want to say. I think it's us in Northfield, but I think we've got a pretty strong card here for a Sunday night. I like it, at least.
You know something, that it is weird because they a bunch of the tracks did cancel, and you're 100% right. I think that this is a really, really good card.
Mm-hmm.
It would be unfortunate to go into this night with a bunch of tracks canceling and we had a bad card. This is a really, really good card.
Yeah, and you could see the crew still working on the track there, right? I mean, the snow's still coming down, so we're still 40 or so minutes away from race number 1. So they're going to keep working on it up until the opener. But again, it's not one of those cards. Maybe we don't have the top end quality that we had last week, but there's a lot of horses, tonight that I really like in certain spots in particular.
I think you could make money tonight.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
agree.
I'm looking at is tonight. I agree with John. I think last Sunday they put on a really nice card, open trot, Logan Park, that kind of stuff. We're not going to see that tonight, but do got a bunch of horses that I think are sitting on big efforts, and I think this is one of those nights that you can lay down a few get a few gifts across.
Now, I know you weren't a big guy racing in the or driving when it rained.
Rained.
But this kind of weather with the snow, did that
Didn't
bother you?
me.
Didn't
No,
bother you?
No,
Okay.
no, not in the least there. I wore summer gloves all year. Now, my
Really?
dad wore no gloves, so
Wow.
can't really, not one-upping him that way. But yes, I wore summer gloves all year. And, cold didn't bother me
So
that way.
snow you were in, rain you were out.
Rain was tough
Okay.
because, like I said, I wore contacts underneath my glasses, and boy, when that mud and that would get underneath it, and sometimes it would just float it. 1 minute you're looking through your contact or whatever, then you'd blink, and then the next thing you know, your contact's up here, and you're just, you got nothing to see. So it bothered me to race in
You
the
must
rain.
have toughed it out if you had a really,
Oh, yeah, you
really
have
good
to.
drive, though,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
if you had a horse that you
Yeah.
really didn't want to lose that night or
for
something.
sure. Yeah, you had a good night, and
Yeah.
it happened to be raining. You're already here, and everything's good for the first couple races. Then it starts raining. You got no choice but to race in it. But there's nights that, like I said, when I'd be at home and it wasn't a real strong card or something like that, and the idea of going out there and getting all that goop up underneath my contacts and that, no fun.
It's miserable when
It
you
is.
when you walk through the paddock and it's just raining hard and everybody's just
Yeah,
all muddy.
like
and
this
just
is
so-
good
yeah.
because it's not mud. You don't usually, like sometimes because of the weather it is, but when it gets cold, it's just cold. That's all it is. So I got no issue with that. I just didn't like the damp and the rain and stuff like that.
Yeah, and hopefully it doesn't worsen throughout the night. But we're looking forward to it. But let's recap what took place last night. Randy, you came close to a very nice pick 6 ticket potentially. Oh, but I think did you have tie tour anyways though in that last leg? No, you didn't, right?
No.
So
Yeah.
it was all for naught anyways.
It started
That
out
was-
real
started
good.
off really good. Yeah, I believe one person took down the pick 6. It paid $7,800 for 20 cents. So a lone winner there. So congrats to the winning player. You could see that jackpot high five carryover
really
continuing
grew.
to grow there, over $11,000 now. Tyler Both, Scott Young, and Jody Jamieson, all three of them had 2 wins apiece. Scott Young being your star of the card last night, and he had a good night overall. I mean, he's gotten, even in limited drives, he's actually driving some pretty good quality over the course of the last several weeks.
He goes in bits and spurts, right? Sometimes it just seems like he's coming in here and they don't even have a pulse. And then all of a sudden he'll go through a rush like he's going through now where, and sometimes it just takes that one horse to kind of get people looking at you sort of different. And I think that we're seeing a little bit of a resurgence from the Answer simply because of Figment. You know, that horse is really, you know, bringing Scotty, you know, front and center.
Well, yeah, and he's getting reunited with Ben Bergeron, right?
Ben
He's driving
Bergeron.
some of the horses that, you know,
Yeah.
Louis was listed on a few.
Yeah.
Louis booking off elsewhere.
Eddie Hayter's horses
Yeah,
are good
exactly.
right now. You know,
so Scott
Yeah,
Young,
going through a good,
he's been
good
driving
roll.
Ben's barn regularly in the past. He's had success driving for him, so he's going to pick up a good drive again here in our Peaky Blinders. Louis opting to go out to Usain Hanover. So yeah, it's been a pretty good goal for Scott with limited opportunities, and you know, hopefully he can keep that momentum rolling throughout the winter and the spring. Speaking of momentum, though, I mean James McDonald. When we last spoke last night, he was atop of the leaderboard for the World Driving Championship. He didn't have the best of lineups though to close out that competition, but he was able to make the most of it though, Randy. And with just one race to go, he's atop of the leaderboard, and we're going to look at a couple of these heats that took place yesterday here, and we're going to start off with race 5. Sherwood Maggie. This is one of James' drives here.
Right up in front.
Just gets picked off up the inside, though. I think a horse just gets him up the passing lane, if I recall correctly. But again, nice drive and just you know, calm, cool, and collected. I mean, he's just getting the most out of the horse. But it was the horse up to sitting in the pocket who was able to just get up the passing lane to score.
Is that the French driver that's in the
Yeah.
Tulip, Pierre Veracruz or something? Yeah, he's having a good tournament too.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
No,
guy
Ja-
representing the Netherlands had a pretty good day. I think he had 3 wins yesterday.
Yes,
He was able
yeah.
to
Right.
skyrocket up the standings.
Right. But yeah, here James, you know, just going to get picked off. Almost gets the job done. Just game of inches, you know. But you know, again, good. You know, he didn't have a real good strong, like you said, he didn't have a real good strong lineup in this sequence of races. But he still managed to get little pieces here and there, and I think that's kind of what you're kind of aim for in these competitions, is just to try to get little bit pieces here and there, capitalize when you can.
And now he's able to work out you know, the trips are kind of reversed here, though. He's able to work out a pocket trip. I believe he's able to pick up a piece in this spot. Don't know if I remember this race in particular, but I can't remember where he finished. Nevertheless, though, he finished second in this race. Thanks, Jason. And yeah, you could see again, just James putting them in really good spots and ending up with some really, really good results. So he is going to be atop of the leaderboards, Randy. And I think with one race to go, I think if he's second last or last and Gary Hall Jr. wins, that's the only way he gets beat. Yeah. Big day. I think it's New Zealand Cup Day as well, that final heat in a couple of days. So yeah, really excited. I'm sure James is also pumped up. You know, I can't imagine there's too much pressure. Anything can happen, of course. I don't think he wants to get too ahead of himself, but he's had a really, really strong showing from the you know, from the word go. Didn't really make a splash on day one though, but he was able to just progressively keep stacking up those points, and looks like he's going to be crowned the winner.
Yeah, if he feels pressure, I'm sure he does. Everybody does, but if he does a good job of hiding it, because you never really have. You ever sensed pressure from him? Me neither.
No.
You know, so you know, does a good job on the track and off the track. You know, we should be really proud of to have James over there representing Canada.
I know a lot of guys, you know, who are obviously competing on this circuit. I know a lot of them do their homework and watch replays and are pretty in tune with the product as a whole. But for me, I mean, James McDonald, when you know, take a walk around the paddock after a race, he'll win a race. He'll win by 8 lengths. And I saw him at the monitor watching the race, and I said, why are you watching the race? You know, you won by 8 lengths. And his response was, there's still 9 other horses that I competed against, and I'm going to have the opportunity to compete against going forward. So you just really, it doesn't really sink in when you hear that perspective. As important it is to have good stock, Randy, you have to know the other horses that you're competing against as well, right?
That's the big thing. You know, that is the biggest thing. You know, I mean, you're going to know your own horses because you're usually the one driving them or whatever. But yeah, it's really, really important to know what's going on around you. You know, and he does a good job of that. He prepares very, very well. And like I said, you know, we couldn't be luckier having him over there representing us.
Now, I don't know how it works. It's either if you win or if you're a rep. I think if he wins the World Driving Championship, I'd have to double check, but he might get an automatic bid to represent Canada again. Either is it in the NDC or in the WDC. I can't remember exactly, but because he represented Canada, he's going to get an opportunity, I think, to get an automatic bid into the NDC or the WDC, which is going to be hosted here in Canada. So I just want to double check on that.
Next year it's here in Canada?
The next time the NDC, the WDC takes place, it's going to be in Canada.
Wasn't it just here in Canada a couple years ago?
2017.
2017?
I think that's when James last won it, right? So obviously,
and it comes up every year? Or every 2 years?
Comes up every couple of years.
Every couple of years?
So I think, that will be the host. I don't know which tracks are going to be. I think it's going to be different parts of Canada. And then I don't know where I'm sure Mohawk's gonna, grab a leg or two or something. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun to witness it here. Hopefully Ontario can get a couple of legs. That way we get a chance to witness it firsthand.
Yeah.
Or even cover it. Again, it would be great to bring the WDC especially because it really helps the wagering as well.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Always interesting to see different drivers on strange horses,
especially when they're competing on the national stage, right? For supremacy. So that's really well. So we're hoping James can close things out. It looks pretty good, but you never know. But hopefully James can return to Canada as the winner of the WDC.
Any chance that maybe we're going to see John Rollis over there dressed in the Greek flag there, representing Greece there as a harness driver?
No, I think they ride donkeys there. Or they drive donkeys.
No
trust
horses, me, I've drove the odd donkey over here
yeah.
before.
No,
Especially on those muddy nights.
Okay, yeah. No horse riding, no horse or carriage riding for the Greeks. I think it was more so donkey riding. All right, so we're gonna let's dig into tonight's action.
Okay.
Let's hope that we land on some good ones tonight.
All
Randy.
right.
You and I are gonna differ in the opener, though. I know that, and both our horses taking support here in this spot. I like the way they kicked off this sequence. I think this is a really competitive group, as seen by the betting board here. A couple of co-lukewarm favorites. Luhu, Nova Blue. Nova Blue can take all the support he wants. Just a horse that I have to toss, right? I mean, if he beats me, he beats me. Yeah, so he's one that I don't care if he's 1-5. I'm going to be playing against him every single time. But you went to Luhu, one that is winless in 10 starts this year, and I think is trending the right way, and you really liked his effort in his most recent.
Absolutely love the job that Stevie Houdon's done with this guy. He's ultimate patience with this guy. He's never overplayed his hand, and I think he's really, really going to capitalize on this tonight. So we're going to show you the replay of November the 2nd, and just before we show you that, his last two post positions, he's had a 10 and a 9 to work with, goes into the 2 position tonight. That's got to be a plus. Both races, he raced very, very well, and we're going to take a look at the last one. But what I want you to understand, though, too, is October the 7th, he had the 10 hole. Next start, the one that we're going to show you, November the 2nd, almost a month between these two starts. So let's roll them, Jason, and let's take a look at Luhu and Stevie Houdon. Like I said, sat way back with this one. The week before that with the 10 hole, he bombs him out of there, gets a nice mid-pack ride. So the gate speed is there if he decides to call on it. But I don't know if he's going to have to. This is a good effort again here for this guy. So you can see Stevie coming down the middle of the pack with this 9 horse, and at all points he keeps moving forward. Takes the odd little break here and there, but keeps moving forward, and he gets after him again, keeps moving forward, and on the run out, guess what? Keeps moving forward. So I really think that Luhu's looking good in here, moving into the 2 hole and coming in here with a very, very good rotation.
Yeah, and that was a good effort off a month. And you mentioned just as they were going to the gate, one that you said, I don't think he's going to be a factor tonight, but one that I want to just see what kind of effort he puts forth. And you said you wouldn't be surprised if he put forth a good effort, which he did. And now you feel inclined to go with him. And I don't blame you, right? And I think the betting public's going to back him comfortably here as well. We can see an even split, though, here between the handicappers here on screen. I opted to go to Barbadian Breeze. I thought this guy raced sneaky good last time. He came out of that same replay, though, and he never had any real estate to work with whatsoever. I like the body language of the horse and the body language of Louis Watt. So I think this is one that can put forth a pretty good effort. I thought he showed big-time improvement in start number 2. He has to overcome the outside draw, but I think this is a horse that should be able to be put in play early, and I think definitely will be a big player. But I think, honestly, when I look at this group from top to bottom, I just feel like we probably have the main 2. I really do.
We do, but there is one other horse in here that both of us have been tracking for a few weeks, and he's improving big time, but just not quite enough for me to pull the trigger on him yet. And that's the 4 horse, Late for Coffee. Within a week or 2, John, we're going to be putting this guy up on top.
Yeah, he's definitely moving, trending the right way, right? I mean, he put forth some good efforts earlier on this year, and he hit a little bit of a lull period where he just was not himself whatsoever. He should have been far more competitive against some of the horses that he was competing against, but I think his efforts have gotten better and better. But I'm not quite there yet in terms of making him a win candidate.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, I got him in for 3rd, and I know within a week or 2, it's only going to take one big race, and I got him on top.
Yeah, you're going Luhu as a single. A bit of a spoiler alert in the opening leg of that pick 5. I'm going Barbadian Breeze, so you and I have to make a coffee bet there to kick off this program. We're going to move on to race number 4 that kicks off the pick 6. Look, I think these races are pretty wide open, Randy, and I think this race while it does open the pick 6 sequence, I do think that this is a pretty competitive group. We're going to be scratched down to a field of 8 here in this spot. You and I actually landing on the same top selection here. Kevin Anthony, one that caught our attention last time out because I know the line doesn't look great, but the effort was a strong one, I thought. We thought, I should say.
Yeah, I thought so. We're going to send in the replay on this November the 2nd effort for this guy. Been down here in the non-winners of 6,000 for a few starts. Now, I honestly thought he would have capitalized by now, but he's pretty close. And this start here, I think he's going to come out of this race really, really sharp. Excuse me. Missouri. I used him up on top in his last start, but even though I'm getting my driver back again on him, he does draw the outside, and he does have to come up a little bit into class. So I'm going to take a wait and see on him. But Kevin Anthony, let's go with this guy. And this is going to be Todd Ratchford coming back for the Jackie Moe stable. And Kevin Anthony, like I said, right here to me looks good. Look at the body language on Todd. At no point is he asking him to keep up. This is all Kevin keeping up on his own, not being, he's just looking for room. And you can see Todd idling him back and forth, just looking for some kind of a seam to happen. And nothing is going to happen. This is about as much seam as he's going to see right here. Just a little bit over Trevor's shoulder, nowhere to go. He's got his momentum backed right off. He's shut right down. Everybody else has momentum. He's got absolutely nothing, and he gets beat a total of 3 lengths on the charter, John. 29-1 the last quarter. What does he come if they cut him loose? 28 seconds? Yep. Kevin Anthony's the way that I'm going to go.
Yeah, same with me. And I know he's got an outside draw to work with, but we've seen him start to show a little bit of gate speed as of late. So, yeah, he does draw the far outside. But I still think this is a horse that Todd can definitely put into play early. And hopefully he can work out a pretty good trip. Look, this is a wide open race, right? I decided to go with the horse that I think could provide a little bit of value that was coming off a good effort. I think Kevin Anthony, you and I both agree, fits that billing. We both have all gas, no brakes underneath. The drop in class is going to help. But I think the last 2 efforts have been solid efforts, and I really do think that this is one that's going to put forth a good effort tonight as well.
Yeah, I always say to myself, don't use him when he's on the rail. He did show the rail 2 down. He finished 4th in there. And it's not that I dislike him off the rail. I just find that in other post positions, he can get himself out of there and get himself into a better spot. Sometimes with the rail, he's kind of hindered, by the inside wing. So I'm going to throw him in for 3rd, but I agree with you, John, there. I think that he could, he's going to be my 2nd spot now with Flirty Dancer being scratched tonight. But I think that he could come up with a real good one as well. But the rail could nullify it.
I think Market Banker could be sharper with the inside draw and 2nd start back on a regular rotation. I thought he probably just needed that start, I'd say. And Sparks Fly, never one that's going to be aggressively handled, and maybe that's going to be enough to get the job done in this group, right? Obviously horses that are going to go to the lead, I think they merit a lot of respect. Now, have we seen him finish off miles as of late? No. But on his best effort, he's definitely one that could get the job done. I left him off my pick 5 tickets. I could end up regretting that, though. I really could. So there's a lot going for him here because we know he's going to be leaving. He's got a good draw to work with. And, again, if things work out in his favor, he could be getting his picture taken.
He could be, yeah. But I think a lot of things got to go his way, though.
All right, Randy and I going in the direction of Kevin Anthony, hoping to provide a bit of value in that opening leg of that pick 6 sequence. We're going to move on to race number 5. This closes out this early pick 5. We're going to have a big scratch here, right? What about Elmo, who's taking a drop down out of that open? I love another one in here a little bit more, but still one that I knew was going to be tough, especially if he showed up. But I'm going to go the direction of Nazy. I backed him last week at 26-1. I thought that was a really, really sharp effort. He just ran out of room, or didn't have room, I should say, halfway down the lane. But I thought that was a good effort. And this guy seems to be trending back to the direction of the preferred trotter that we know he's capable of being.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also going to go Nazy on here, too. And the replay that we're going to show you is that last start. And what we're going to do by showing that the November 2nd race for Nazy is we're also going to get to see the 2-horse in here, Usain Hanover. I had him up on top. I liked the way that he raced last week, but for some reason, I just found that when Chris come out of the hole with new rules, he didn't seem like he was the same horse as he did when he was first up. So maybe a better effort tonight for Usain Hanover. But let's take a look at Nazy and Travis Cullen. And he's giving him an absolutely perfect trip. You can see him. He started to angle him off the rail, trying to find some room for him down and through here. He eventually does get a little bit of room, and boy, he turns it up pretty good. He stokes it going forward. You can see bar hopping with Louis in second right now. Chris Jr. with new rules, but Nazy's the one with the big movement on the end of it. So Nazy's the way that I'm going to go in here. But Usain Hanover, again, with the scratch of my second horse, What About Elmo? Usain Hanover will be now my second pick in here. I like the way that he raced. I really, really do. I just think that he can improve. There was just something that happened last week that it just, for some reason, it just seemed to me like it stalled him when that horse was in front of him. So anyway, I think he can be a little bit better in here tonight.
Yeah, he missed 3 weeks coming into a new track, right? I mean, shipping from the States, first start in Manery's barn. We've seen the success he's had for Pollock Racing. I mean, we talk about it all the time, and we see it all the time. I think this guy really could take a bigger step forward here tonight. But for me, Nacy, I mean, the reason I picked him on November 2nd was when he flashed that sub-27 final quarter on October 27th, we knew the competition was tough there, Randy. But he really showed that pop that we know he's capable of showing because, you know, he just hit a little bit of a lull period. I don't know if something was amiss with him for, you know, several starts or several weeks, but he seems to be trending in the right way. And off that effort, you have to figure that he's going to be aggressively handled in this spot. And, you know, maybe it's not enough, but I have to figure he's going to be in a much better spot than maybe where he was last time out.
Yeah, I myself think that it's just we're just looking at a typical kind of a racehorse here. 37 starts so far this year. That's a lot for this year. And I mean, when you got a horse like him, he started his year out huge, you know, I mean, he's racing in the open, but those are tough starts. And I think at any horse that's going to keep racing every 7 days, which Travis has elected to do with this guy, he's going to have his peaks and he's going to have his, you know, his low periods. And I think he went through a low period and Travis was easy on him that low period. He dropped out of the open, lost a lot of money, made his way back down into these cheaper classes, and now we're starting to see a resurgence. Like John said, a couple weeks ago, he showed us already that he was starting to come back into that good form. Last week, the replay that we just showed you, wicked good form on the end of it. Tonight, it should just be a really, really good race for him, especially with the middle of the gate, because that's the other thing about Nazy, too. He does show leaving from the 10 hole. This horse has vicious good gate speed when he wants to use it.
A big time. And I know our Peaky Blinders is dropping out of the open. I think this is obviously one that, from a class standpoint, on paper, he definitely stacks up. Just prefer a couple others in here. That's all it is, right? I mean, I'm not going to. I can't just back every horse that drops down in class by default. Just one that I don't prefer as a winning contender here tonight, specifically.
Who was the horse that you couldn't use tonight that you really, really wanted to? Of all the horses that are in here,
in this race,
I had a hard time staying away from Devil's Arch.
Okay, I don't know if I used him underneath. I can't remember, but I agree with you. I mean, that was a sharp win last time out, right? I mean, he's moving up in class. Yeah, I don't know if he's ready to tackle these types in a winning effort right now. I think he's trending the right way and definitely improving. I mean, look, he's raced really well, but these are some really good trotters that he's taking on. And he's a really good trotter himself, but I just don't know if tonight's going to be the night where he can just step up.
It just shows twice that he's been in this optional 70 and he struggled both times. And then he's got the rail to boot. But boy, oh boy, you want to talk about a horse that I love using because he loves to win races, this horse. You know, if you can get him into the right spot, you know what I mean, and use him, it's gold because he will win.
A competitive way to close out this early pick 5. Now we're scratched down to a field of 9, but still another competitive race on this Sunday night program. We're going to move on to race number 6 here this evening. This is going to kick off that late pick 5. We're scratched down to a field of 7 here. Fancy Lettering got the job done last time out. There was a single claim on the starter of Stag Party last time out. She was able to convert a winning score last time out. I went back to her in this spot. I didn't go all in on her, but I went back to her in this spot. She's going to race out of the Gerard Demir's barn here, and we've seen the success that he's had with horses first time off the claim. He had one that raced really well the other day, actually showed big improvement, was that head of the class. Showed big improvement, right? Raced a little different, but still was a solid second.
And the Strawberry Roan that raced last night, he's still racing good. Barracuda. Yeah, no, you know, we've been talking a couple of weeks now about Demir's barn. They're really starting to heat up. I can see you going to Fancy Lettering. You said you put her on top. I can see that. That's a good move on your part. I think I threw her in for second. I am looking to beat her, and that's going to be with the 5-horse Faithful's Nola. You know, kind of a new one for me. I haven't seen much of her in these parts. $4,000 London purchase as a baby, 8 years old now, and just recently gone over the $110,000 mark this year. But I think she raced really good here. Her first start coming in from Leamington, and I think she was kind of a decent sized kind of a horse. So I could see maybe the bigger track helping her. So let's take a look at Faithful's Nola with Todd Ratchford for Ernest Nussio from the Windsor area. Long ship up for Ernest. Yes, she was a big fairly big filly, shadow play filly, but I like the movement on her. Boy, oh boy, she would be a big filly for Leamington. Leamington's a tight half-mile track. And look at the size of this girl. She is a big drink of water. But anyway, good movement on the end of it. And what I really like about her is the fact that Todd's coming back. He knew that she raced good. He's going to come right back for another try for her. I do not see Mr. Nucio trucking her all the way down here from Windsor, you know what I mean, without the idea that maybe he could get the job done. I think that she was as live on the end of it as anybody else, so I'm going to try to beat Fancy Lettering with Faithful's Nola.
I really agree with you there. I mean, I've used her in my pick 5 ticket. I believe I've got her underneath in for second, Faithful's Nola. And the biggest thing is Todd Ratchford got a chance to sit behind her last week, finished up well for him, and now he's got to be confident now with this mare. So she draws well. She's handy as well. She can leave out of there. So I think that she's going to be in a better spot tonight, and I think one that is definitely a main contender there. I think Dolly Daydream also won. That I think obviously merits respect. We know when she's on her game. She's not the biggest of win candidates right now. Just struggling to get her nose up. But again, we know that with the right trip, she can get there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The quality's there. I mean, you can't really call it, I guess, backlash. She spent a lot of time in the cheaper claimers, but she puts money up, and that is the big issue right there. Good quality racehorse.
All right, that's our way. That's how we're going to start things off in that late pick 5. We're going to move on to race number 9. That's going to be the final pick 3 opportunity of the evening. We've got 11 tonight, right, Randy? We have 11 or 10. So it's going to kick off the late double. 11 was last night, I believe.
Yes.
See, all right, we've got 10
got
tonight.
Got a scratch in this one.
Got a scratch, though, a big scratch, though, right? I know you submitted a replay on Magical Bet, coming off a sharp third place effort. He's been really sharp, so a big scratch, a couple of big scratches for Jody, right? He had the opportunity to drive What About Elmo as well as Magical Bet tonight, both of which were live contenders. But there's still some quality horses here in this group, though, Randy, and we're going to get a chance to see Steamboat Springs here, who's going to be making his debut for Dave Maneri. I know he hasn't been much of a factor as of late, but this gelded son of Sweet Lou, he really does have the speed and the ability, and I'm really curious to see if he can put it all together here in his first starts for the new barn.
Yeah, a lot to like about this guy, right? Only 3-year-old, $135,000 Lexington purchase, owned by Jennifer Bongiorno. Good luck, Jennifer, with this guy up here, and I think that he's gonna do well in the Maneri camp already with a speed badge of 50. With the 19 starts to go with it, only the 2 wins so far, but again, a good one in 50 and change. I'm going to go Steamboat Springs because we've seen this movie so many times, but I can honestly tell you, if Magical Bet wasn't in here and didn't have that decent kind of a locked-in trip, it'd have been tough for me to stay away from Captain Hurley.
Yep.
He's 10-1 morning line in here, you know what I mean? I got him in he's going to be my second pick now with the scratch of Magical Bet, but I think that this horse is kind of a dangerous horse in here tonight. Yep. I think that his lines are kind of tepid right now. The last one there, I think that this horse looked good coming out of there for Eddie, and then ended up with broken equipment. Eddie had to pull him up. They never got a chance to race him, I think this horse is actually coming into form right now, so maybe want to take a look at him out in the post parade, and if he looks good, appeals to you, I'd take a chance at this guy because, like, again, 8, with the 7 hole that he has, his gate speed that he has, that's nothing to him, and I really do think that this guy is starting to come back into forms. But Steamboat Springs, we've seen it so many times with Maneri.
Well, Jen Bongiorno sent one up earlier this year, GA Speed Expert, right? One that she owned. She sent it to Dave Maneri, and he was able to get the job done. A couple of big efforts here on the big track, so she's going to be sending her charge here to Dave again and hoping for a similar success right away. You mentioned about being cognizant or watching out for certain horses. How could you not be looking out for Regal Bub, right? When we saw Andy Moore get the job done last night, a top selection by you with
Ben
Lookin. And this guy's put forth some good efforts on the big track as well. So here's another night where Andy Moore is going to come with a charge who I think has the talent and the speed to compete with this group. And given what we saw last night, I think this is one that you have to include in your pick 5 tickets. I don't know. I can't remember if I did or not, but I certainly would. If I had the option now, especially with the scratch of Magical Bet, I think I would add this Andy Moore charge on my tickets. And Aquinas Hanover, what trip are we going to see from him tonight? Is he going to be able to push out of there from the inside? Because he did something we haven't seen from him in quite some time. And I think that's the tricky part about handicapping, right? When you see certain patterns for 20 or so starts. How do you expect him to be leaving out of there in a spot like last week? That's the tricky part.
That's the tricky part,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what set him up for that big win. So I got him in for 4th. I could see him coming up with a big effort. Is coming in here. Excuse me. Is coming in here with a bit of a stale date. October the 23rd was the final of that pop-up series, and where he ended up getting the job done there. And yeah, none of us were really expecting it. But the other thing is too is that I've always been a big believer when a horse is being raced the same way week in and week out, start after start. If there's a way that you can change that up, if you can send them down the road, get them tired, race them differently, then go back to the way that you were racing them, they can sometimes come up with miracle trips. So I think that this guy actually, because James sent him down the road last week and raced him the way that he did, I think that's going to power him up for tonight as well. So have him in on the bottom because he draws down on the inside. I don't necessarily like him from the 2-hole. I like him better from the mid gate to the outside wing a little bit better, but I do see him coming up with a nice effort.
We saw that with Bruno No as well. We didn't expect leaving out hard. It didn't quite work out. I know still it was a tough trip, but didn't quite work out the following start. Though he was still aggressively handled, but he didn't shoot
I think
off
the
gate,
rail
but the rail exactly.
Yeah.
So I think one that, look, I mean, we know he's got the gate speed whenever he wants to flash it, so it's one that you kind of have to be cognizant of and think to yourself, okay, horses can leave. I remember everybody saying that every horse, somebody told me a long time ago, every horse can leave.
Yep.
Now, are they going to have the same pop on the end of it if they use that some of that speed early? But somebody said to me, by no means every single horse can leave. So
they can.
They can, yeah.
Yep.
I just don't know if they're going to put forth the same efforts that maybe racing.
And you don't know if it's going to be a consistent leave.
Yeah,
Are they just going to do it once out of the blue? And that's what I'm trying to get with the Aquinas Hanover. So we seen basically this situation with Bruno No. Goes down the road, goes an incredible mile, 2 starts down, comes back next start, going for the final of 40,000, draws the rail, but it was a hindrance. He got away 5th. They tried to make a remove halfway through the race. It just never worked out. He could never get him into the spot that he needed to get him into. I think with Aquinas Hanover having the inside, we might be seeing the same kind of a situation where he's going to get away, maybe mid-pack, and, maybe it's just not going to work his way. But I also could see, like I said, changing that style up could make him stronger.
Absolutely. Those are our thoughts in race number 9. We're going to move on to the 10th and final race on the Sunday night program. And the outside two, Randy, I think are going to take the bulk of the support here and get a lot of looks. But you also think they're main contenders here in this spot. But I know there's one in here that you mentioned last week that you're going to go with here tonight, and that's the 4-horse Dance Captain. And you've been really impressed with his efforts on the big track over the last couple of starts.
Absolutely loved him since he's come in here for Robert Doyle. Tyler Borth been sticking close to this guy, and I can see why. I think that he's on a big move up here tonight. So let's take a look at some of he's had 3 starts since he's come in here from Sarnia to our track here. So the first start draws the rail, that tough kind of a rail, ends up with a nice rail ride, finishes 4th, last quarter in 27 flat. 27 flat right away. That's kind of got to pique your interest a little bit. Then he comes back with his next start, which is going to be October the 6th, not the one that we're going to show you. October the 6th. Remember that date. Comes there, gets away 5th, makes a big power move, goes the second quarter in 28 and change, chops it out, finishes 2nd, just gets picked off on the end of it by Asiago Sealster. Then he misses a month. November the 1st is the start that we're going to show you now on this replay. So there was a month between this start and the start before. The start before, finished 2nd, paced a mile in 51. What does he do in this start after missing a month? Well, let's take a look, John. Number 1, he's got the 5-hole, makes a huge move out of there to get to control right off the bat. That's kind of nice because he does have the 4-hole in here tonight with the scratch of the 1. It'll be the 3, but a nice big leaving move out of there. And then who's that on the outside? Coming with his 2nd move out of the 2-hole, Dance Captain with Tyler Borth. And here he is, on the outside. Like I said, a month between starts, his last start and this start here. And at this point, he's cleared the horse. He just isn't going to be able to hold off a horse that's been taking the circuit by storm. This is Figment. He's not going to be able, nobody's been able to beat Figment. So I think that Dance Captain is coming in here with a really good rotation. much better post position, and since he's come to the big track, he's had 3 starts, and all 3 starts he's paced in 51. He doesn't need to go any faster, just needs to find the right trip, and I think that Tyler's going to find that for him tonight.
He's got the post advantage, right?
Yes.
But this is a competitive way to close out
It
this
is.
card again, because I do think Twinbee Courageous, who was able to hang on narrowly for a winning effort, he was sitting on a good effort, I thought. We both had him in underneath, I believe. So one that I thought definitely could show some improvement, which he did. But, I also like that RB's Tenacious T. I backed him from the 10 hole, and he never saw a set of pylons. He dipped back in just for a brief moment and had to come right back out again. So one that I think is going to be even sharper this time out, especially off that trip.
He's wearing the Riddler green. The big question mark.
Yep,
He's
yep.
the big question mark in this race. I agree with you. The horse that I really like, I got him up on top. This guy, I got him in for second because I don't really know exactly what it is that we're dealing with. He's only had the 1 start here, but wow, what a good one. 10 hole and a big move on the end of it for this guy. So interesting race. Like you said, you could go a lot of different ways, and I think that's the scenario of the whole night.
Yep, I agree. And I think we're both taking similar approaches, though, right? We're both backing horses who raced well and missed nearly a month or a month coming into that effort. So you're going Dance Captain. I'm going RB's Tenacious there in race number 10. There are thoughts on that this Sunday night program. We're going to look at some ticket ideas. And Randy, let's look at your pick 5 ticket to kick things off here. Any singles? I assume
Yes,
you do.
sir.
All right. Got a few of them. Okay.
I got 3 now. Started out with 2, but it had a scratch to knock me down to a single of 2. So Lou is going to be my single. Then I'm alling race number 2. I like Bold Spirit, but I like Larry Carr. I like Sunshine Inspector. I like them all. So 6-horse field, hoping for I can catch a bit of a price. In race number 3, it's going to be Prove 'em Wrong. The return of Prove 'em Wrong. And the 7-horse My Only Sunshine in there. Race number 4 with the scratch of Flirty Dancer. I'm singled on to Kevin Anthony. I don't mind that in the least. And then race number 5, closing it out with a single on Nazy.
Yeah, I like the idea. I like the approach that you're taking. You're taking a big swing in race number 4. I like Kevin Anthony as well. I didn't have the guts to single him. I'm going to go bookend singles, though. We single the same horse in race 5. But I'm going to single a horse in the opener. You and I both really liking a horse here to kick things off. I'm all in on Barbadian Breeze. But then I go spread in between, though, right? I think that legs 2 and 3 are pretty tough. I know that Bold Spirit has been winning as of late, but I think Century Inspector, he's my top pick. I thought he was super last time out. Just sometimes one of these horses, early action, he should find himself in a better spot, too. So I think he merits respect. I think it's a competitive race. I elected to leave out the inside, too. But race 3, I mean, it's tough as well, right? I mean, I went 1, 4, 7, 8. I don't even know if that's enough per se, right? That's a tough race.
I
race
looked
number 3.
after her when she was a 2-year-old.
Which one?
The one I'm using in race number 3, Prove 'em Wrong.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah,
All right,
Casey
some sentiment.
Casey had her. When I
right.
was working for Casey, I looked after her. She was a really nice horse. Got hurt young, but always had the big motor. Was meant to be a good horse. So returning here, when it maybe hopefully she remembers me and races good.
Anytime Cam McQueen brings out horses here to the big track,
Does
I
a
think
good job.
you gotta merit some respect. You gotta take a second look. So there's some different ticket ideas from Randy and myself, and let's look at your plays board, though. I believe we probably talked about a few of those horses, or maybe all of them already, that we're going to get a chance to see. But let's go through your 4-pack.
Okay, Waples Watch is going to come along in race number 1, and that's going to be a Loo-Hoo. Beat the Favorite is going to come along in race number 3, and that's going to be Prove 'em Wrong.
Okay.
And race number 4, my worth a look is Kevin Anthony. And my all-in, you're going to have to stick around to the last race, and that is going to be Dance Captain.
All right, I like it. Again, I think you're taking some shots there. I think every horse that you pick really is a contender in this race. And again, that's the beauty of this card, competitive. And I think it should be a pretty good handle night, I'd say. My best bet's going to be Barbadian Breeze in the opener. My value, Kevin Anthony. My all-in's going to be Nazy. And my spot play, YYC on the horizon. One that I thought had a really tough trip last time out. But Malik Smith, I think he's got the 2 to beat in that race, I'd
Malik
say.
Smith's barn is really starting on the upsurge as well.
Big time. All right, so there's our thoughts, and let's look at some resident handicappers and their thoughts and selections. Ghislain Paquette, Usain Hanover, try number 2. I agree with him. I think he could definitely be sharper in race number 2. Sean Patrick Nolan taking over Nahu picks for tonight. Well Set Celeb's going to be his spot play, and Garnet Barnsdale's spot play is going to be RB's Tenacious T. A bunch of us in agreement with that selection as well. All right, we've got 3 minutes to go before we kick off this Sunday night program. Again, they've been working on the track for a little bit, over the course of the last hour or so. Hopefully it could be good to go here momentarily. And let's hope for some good night of racing. I know the weather's gloomy, but I think we're going to see some pretty good action tonight, I hope.
I agree. I mean, we were lucky last night because we seen a lot of action. That's all we asked for, John?
Yep.
Just
We
give us some action. That's all. It just makes the night go a lot quicker and just a lot more fun. When you see a race starting to set up the way that you wanted it to set up, and then all of a sudden there's a couple of moves, and now it's completely different. So always got to see that action.
Track crew, they did a great job on the track. You could see it's nice and clean. It's too bad they took down your snowman on the infield though tonight, Randy. But nevertheless, hopefully we can provide some winners, some good analysis, and let's make the most of this Sunday.
Sounds good.